Hello.
This is going to be the video. This is the video you've been looking for. We're going to get straight into it. We're going to tell you the one simple thing that that we get to continually practice in order to shift our identity. It's funny because a lot of time we treat life like after we say, "Hey, I'm going to be serious about my health." We think like after we decide like that's all we have to do. But something that I've been finding myself repeat and even say to some of my family members is just like in the animal kingdom, like the animals don't say, "Oh, well, I ate yesterday, I'm good." Every day these animals get up and they go eat. They go find their food. And so I it's really interesting and it's really disheartening when human beings think like, "Oh, I did this one thing last week," or "Oh, I did this however many weeks ago, I'm good," or "I'm so honorable because, I would I don't want to I almost gave a great example, but I don't want to say that because that ain't my place. But you know what I'm saying? It's like every day we start over. Every day is a new day. We don't say, "Oh, well, I worked really hard um on January 13th, 2024, so I'm good for the rest of the year." No, every day we get to show up and we get to work hard. And not even that it's hard, but we get to be intentional, we get to be mindful, we get to be focused, we get to be empty at the end of the day. We get to give every day our all. And so I'm really like, what is that one thing that keeps us in that energy? A lot of
Hmm. Hmm.
times, uh we're like, "Dang, I was motivated when I was at that seminar or when I'm around those people." But what is that one thing that we can do in order to stay motivated? If this is your first time seeing us, hello, my name is Faye. This is my handsome partner, Devin Edwards. And
Hello.
you are currently live with Zay and Devin. You may be watching the replay. Definitely let us know. Like, tell us in the chat what would be a great time frame for you. Like, what would be the best time frame for you to actually catch us live, because we may work something out. Right now we're going live about 10 a.m. EST on Mondays. We are gonna just be playing with our schedule and our time as far as going live. But if we have a lot of our audience say like, "Hey, I can actually, come see y'all for like 20-30 minutes at this time," put the
Hmm.
time
Hmm.
in your time zone, because even the Ben, he is currently in London, and we would love to actually chat with you live. Like, that's why we're doing these lives. And so, yeah, let us know the days of the week, the time, and the time zone that works best for you, and because we would actually love to actually meet you live. But yeah, so as we talked about in other lives that we've done this month, this is Justice July 2024, and this is all about us taking justice for our higher self, taking justice for our best selves. And when we talk about taking justice towards self mastery, it's internal work. It's healing our past. It's loving on ourselves. It's believing in ourselves. And all that stuff sounds esoteric and all that stuff sounds like far away, but really it is real work that we get to do within ourselves. And so one thing that even as we're reading and we're listening to other thought leaders, it's this whole identity conversation. And under that, it's like, okay, sometimes it sounds foreign. And I know because we kind of live in this world of self-growth, personal development. Like this is our life. So sometimes it's very interesting and it's very like brain freezing for me to be around people who actually um who actually don't believe in the things that we believe, or they don't actually they believe in I don't know, they don't believe in like that they are in control of their lives, and they don't believe that they are worthy or they are capable to create the life that they desire. That is so weird to me. A lot of people, I'm realizing, and it's humbling that people think that the way life is, like it's out of their control. People play victim to how they got where they are. That is so weird to me. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I promise you I'm not. It literally is like, if you believe in drinking water, like I want to be very, very neutral about this. If you believe drinking water is healthy for you, it's like, why not just drink the water? But there are so many people who know like drinking water is good, but they still avoid drinking water. And so for me, I'm like, not only do I save money, it's like building all this evidence of why I get to drink water. I also like am making myself healthier. So that's how literally it is. But there's literally one thing that we can do in order to shift our identity, in order to be consistently enrolled on that journey to self-mastery. Devane, I want to pause a minute and just see, like, is there anything you have to say, or like, what do you want to bring to the conversation?
Well, yeah. So I mean, Justice July, and of course, when you often talk about justice, is what you talk about the law, crimes, and stuff like that. And of course, when it comes to law, when you're incriminating someone, you have to have evidence, or you have to have a reason, some facts to back up what your claim is. And so you have to in order to actually reclaim your freedom back, you have to claim what you know. And so that also ties in with affirmations, but it ties in with the definition of identity. So I went ahead, because I know you like Google, Jose. And so identity, so if we just break down identity in itself, identity is the fact of being who or what a person or thing is. I'm gonna say that again.
Yeah.
Identity is the fact of being who or what a person or thing is. So who you are and what you are, like the actual facts of who you are and what you are, or what this thing is your identity. So what is the relationship between who you are and what you are as a person or thing or being? And that's what gets to be uncovered, because again, a lot of, especially when it comes to the belief factor that you mentioned before, we some, when push comes to shove, sometimes we don't even believe who we are inside.
Yes.
And because we don't believe enough in who we are inside, we allow the untruths, the facts that are not even facts, to override our existence, to override our actions and all this stuff that goes on in our life. At the end of the day, we're allowing it, because it's like, what you stand for, but you're not
Yeah.
standing for it.
Yeah. Or you're so insecure, like, oh man, this is gonna be a whole nother live, because like I'm experiencing this just with people around me. But it's like, and even me, I had a very spiritual experience with what ego really is, like the
Yeah.
separation of my mind versus my body versus my soul versus my spirit versus my consciousness of Zay.
Yeah.
And it's like, we are so, like, when we allow our ego, and I used to hear people talk about it, but until you experience it, it's like, you don't know nothing, honey. You don't know nothing. And even I feel like I'm at the infancy level of what this whole ego thing is about. But most of us allow our ego to run us. And that is not living. Like, it's like, let me, maybe we can look up this word real quick, man. Ego.
Ego. Yeah. Yeah.
But my experience with ego is literally that consciousness to be right, that consciousness to be heard, that consciousness to be seen. And yes, part of us existing on planet Earth is definitely owning our worthiness. That is so important. And we get to understand, like, when it is us taking up space versus us being selfish and destroying the mission.
Yeah, yeah, you're gonna like this definition. So even I
Okay,
mean,
ego.
I prefer the psychoanalytic definition, but I'm gonna give you the noun definition. So the noun definition is ego is a person's sense of self. It's a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance. Okay, ego is a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance. But but get this part now, because this is where it comes connected with your experience, babe. So from the psychoanalytical view, psychoanalysts say the ego is the part of the mind that mediates between the conscious and the unconscious and is responsible for reality testing and a sense of personal identity.
Say that one more time, because I heard it, but I need to hear it.
Ego is the part of the mind that mediates between the conscious mind and the unconscious mind and is responsible for reality testing and a sense of personal identity. So let me I could break it down in some a bit more layman's terms.
No, that's good. It's landing. Say that last part one more time.
It's responsible for reality testing and a sense of personal identity.
Reality testing and sense of personal identity. Wow.
So when you're in your ego mind, that's literally testing you in this reality that you created. And so it's this battle between your conscious and your unconscious.
Yes.
Like, what are you going to allow to be allowed to actually be what you do? You know, who you are, what you are. That's literally what it is. And
that's so crazy.
Of course, the personal identity relates to the self-esteem and the self-importance. So you let me give you an extended example. For you actually, by being responsible for testing your boundaries, your realities, and going further to expand your consciousness and to go dive deeper in your personal identity, you actually enhanced your self-esteem and self-importance as a result of doing that, because you took responsibility for that. You are responsible. You were responsible because it happened already. So you were responsible for doing that, for enhancing that sense of self-esteem and importance, because, and of course that was a mind shifting reality for you, of course, and everyone has their own experiences.
Yeah, there are multiple ways. But so I know y'all probably like, hold on, how do we, like, what are we talking about? We're supposed to be talking about that one thing to shift our identity. Honestly, do you want to tell them, or is there something else you wanted to add before we go into it? The one thing that we all get to do as a practice of our everyday life in order to remain consistent in our higher version of ourselves, our best self identity, is we get to identify ourselves correctly. We get to name ourselves correctly. It reminds me of hold on now, what was that principle from Kwanzaa? It was.
You mean self-determination? What? Kujichagulia.
Say it one more time, babe. Kujichagulia.
Self-determination.
To define and name ourselves, as well as to create and speak for ourselves. Then I talked about my 23. That's what self-determination, Kujichagulia, which is day 2 of the Kwanzaa principles. Like, we get to name ourselves. So and I'll give some examples. The one thing we get to do is identify ourselves correctly. Babe, look up the word identify. Let's do that real quick. And we really gonna tell y'all, but we gotta warm up the brain, because some of this is literally, a part of you may reject what we're saying because it sounds so foreign, it sounds fake, it sounds woo-woo. But I mean, would you rather open up yourself and actually apply things that people who are free, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, you know, that they saying like, hey, this is what I do. I visualize, I affirm, I mentor myself, I connect with myself, I heal myself. Like these people are saying this is the things that they do. Or would you rather just keep the life that you have? And if you want the life that you have, I don't think you would be on this video. But you know, it really does take some unlearning, right? And honestly, you know, I think of myself, I mean, there are certain things that I'm like, I am unlearning all this other stuff, but I just know like there's things that
Yeah.
I have believed in up so deeply up until now, they have never served me. And so I'm just like, let that go. I believe this now. Like it doesn't have to be this hard thing. I'm like, oh, let that go. That, you know, I accept this is my truth. I accept this as the truth. And I enroll myself
Yeah.
to start identifying as somebody who believes that. But what does identify mean? Because I really want to break this down for all of us.
Yeah. So the first one that pops up is to establish or indicate who or what something or someone or something is. So identify means to establish or indicate who or what someone or something is.
Oh,
And there's a whole
okay.
heap of other definitions as well. So
Yeah,
do
yeah.
you want
Which
them
ones
to
that step out? Because people are going to hear it
say that
differently.
ones? Okay. Yeah. So the other one is to recognize or distinguish, especially something considered
To
worthy of attention,
recognize or what?
or
Distinguish.
distinguish, especially something considered worthy
Worthy
of
of
attention.
attention. Okay.
Mm. Okay. And the next one is assign
Mm,
a particular characteristic or categorization to oneself, describing oneself as belonging to a particular category or group.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Number two is second version is associate someone closely with or regard someone as having strong links with. And the next one is equate someone or something
Mm,
with. And yeah, and so this next one, I actually kind of like this one. Regard oneself as sharing the same characteristics or thinking
mm,
as someone else.
mm. It's a powerful word, identify, to distinguish yourself as. So let's just get into it. So when the one simple thing that we all get to continually practice inconsistently in order to shift our identity is to distinguish ourselves as that version of the as that version of ourselves that we want to be. And based on all those
Mhm.
definitions, when he said to assign these characteristics, this identity to ourselves, to distinguish ourselves as, what was the other one that you liked? It was another one that you liked.
Regard oneself as sharing the same characteristics or thinking as someone
So
else.
if you want to shift your identity in order to be a healthy person, instead of saying, I'm trying to work out this week, we get to say, I'm a person who works out every day. Do you hear the difference? Instead of saying,
Mhm.
I'm trying not to smoke, we get to say, I don't smoke. You are assigning with your words, you are you are labeling yourself, you're distinguishing yourself as an identity or a way a person think. Like if you ask a vegetarian, hey, would you like this beef burger? They're gonna say, I
Mhm.
don't eat meat. They're not gonna say, no, I don't want any right now, or no, you know, they may say something like it's not healthy for me, but they're gonna say I don't eat meat. Like it's not their identity to be eating beef burgers. They'll eat bean burgers, you know.
Yeah. And even a good an example is if you look at actors. Actors are great examples of this because if they want to become this character, they have to that they're playing the role of, that they aspire to be. They aspire to be this character. They have to embody the characteristics. They
Mm,
have to embody how they move, how they walk, how they talk, how they embrace themselves. Like what's their confidence level like? What is their mannerisms like? All these different characteristics they get to embody. And so, and even the thinking. So let's put someone else as, let's say that someone else is someone, the person that aspect of yourself that you've always wanted to be, that you can see yourself being. And so ask yourself, what would that person that you aspire to be
Yes.
do? Who, what would they what would be their thought
Yeah.
process? What would be their thinking? How would they operate in their daily life? How what would they do in their relationship? What would they do in their exercise, their health? What would they do? And so, of course, now once you've assessed that identity, now you get to ask yourself, okay, what are the actions I can take towards shifting into this identity as well? And so, and then embodying that, because actors do that all the time when they're trying to when they want to play for a role. They get into the psyche of it,
Yeah.
and they're like, okay, this character's gonna be like this, and they know they're a whole another person. They're still themselves, but they just another person is elevated. But again, aside from the actor's point of view, like you can take that as an example, but remember, if you want to, you get to do this, gets to be applied to yourself because you want to do this in an authentic manner. Like this is isn't it's when you're shifting your identity, it's a part of you that exists
Yeah.
but it's dormant.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Ooh!
you're not lying.
You
You're not
need
lying
to
to yourself.
pause because a lot of people think that it's not in them. The fact that you even can
Mhm.
see or think or you have
Conceive.
that in you to be
Yeah.
like, I want to be successful. I want to be healthier. It's already in you. You just get to activate it. It's dormant.
Mhm.
It's already in
Yes.
you, but you get to identify and bring out and draw out that version of you that is sleeping. It's hibernating. It's already in you, though. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm like, that's what it is.
No,
Like
that's good. It's good. It's good.
us shifting into I am a person that does that, or I am not a person who does that. You are waking up that sleeping part of you that it's already inside of you. I mean, some things it's like, dang, like who short, I'm resurrecting this part of me, because it's long gone, right? And that's your journey. That's your journey, but it's already inside of you.
Yeah.
And if it feels like it's hard, I mean, it's learnable. You're capable. You have brain cells that are working that can learn. You have your brain, it works like that. It's kind of, I didn't mean to cut you off, but know that it's already.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you can't identify anything without. You can't identify something if you don't even see it. Like you have to be able to see it.
Or
So
feel it.
you could see, you can see. Yeah, exactly. Like using your senses. That's why literally why it says identity is a sense of self-esteem or importance. Or is that ego? Or self-importance. But that's what I'm saying. It's like it's that sense. You already have a sense for it. But again, your senses have been a bit dulled. Yeah. It doesn't mean it's just, again, dormant is dulled. All of that, right? And so if you really want to shift, if you really want to shift, get to see, feel, sense, all of that. Like take a few minutes to really dive down deep on it. And I'll share one step that I believe is a simple shifting step. And for me, it's always been core values. And what I mean by that is core values are, so of course, like identify, like you have to know what identity is before you can assess it, and or have an idea, a feeling for it, a sense for what identity is before you can actually explore it. But core values is what is, I consider a guide. So it's like guiding principles that shape your behavior and the decisions. So remember I mentioned that you have to take action on the characteristics you want to embody and begin embody those qualities, visualizing those qualities. Core values are that guiding principle. So if you value if you actually value health, that's gonna be part of your identity, or the identity you want to shift in, because it's on your mind. It's something that you see. It's something that you sense that you would like to have as part of your being. You know. So and you know how you want to behave. You want to behave lively. You want to, let's say your core value might be, for me, is abundance. It might say adventure, for excellence.
Yes.
And then now you get to know what that means to you. Like you value family, and so you get to inspect. Like you should become an investigator of yourself once you really understand your core values, because they'll guide you towards the different paths where you want to go. Internally, but once you actually write it down or get it clear in your mind and on paper, then when you're out in your daily life, your personal professional life, you're gonna notice it more clearer, and you're gonna grasp onto it, because you're when you like take a look at your ideal identity and identify the values that align with it, there's always gonna be like these synchronicities popping up. Are you gonna be like, so you get to determine those core values that you want to live by, and then commit to integrating them in your daily life. So that's that step. The step is establishing those core values for me.
Yeah. And like we said, like because I know it's like, oh, core values. Like, I know that it sounds very like everybody is saying it, and you may not have a relationship with it, but honestly, it's the things that you believe. It's the things that you do unconsciously. Like, you believe in things, like that's why you do what you do. And maybe you haven't practiced actually being honest and authentic with what you believe in. So maybe you don't say it enough, or maybe you've never said it out loud, but there's thoughts that you have opinions, you have beliefs that show up with who you are. And so it's just whenever you embrace it and own it, that you ground yourself in your identity. But yeah, and just own it. I mean, it is what it is. Like, I will say, for me, I know some people may be intimidated about my passion. Some people may, think it's too much, or but I like the way I am, because
Never
I
too
love
much, never too much.
yeah, because it's like I'm alive, honey. And the fact that I can express myself like this, and it's that's how I feel. It's so exciting, because there was a time when my face was in my bed. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, all in all, the one takeaway that this video is about, the one simple step in order to shift your identity, it is all about you saying words that are of a higher version of yourself. So, for example, if you want to be successful, the one thing that you can do is not say, I want to be successful. I'm going to be, like, I know I can be. It's, I am a successful person. I do what successful people do because I am a successful person.
Yes.
Everything I do is going to be success oriented and outcomes of success. Like, you get to own it. It's a difference with, like, yeah, I'm gonna be successful. Like, this is gonna be successful. No, I am successful. Period. I am successful. Like, that's it. I am healthy.
Yeah. Free.
I work out every day because I am a healthy person. I take care of myself because I love myself, or I'm a person who take care of themselves, who actually, have high worth, high self-belief, high self-esteem. Like, it's a difference in how we believe and how we talk. And so that is the one thing we can do. Instead of saying, I am trying not to smoke, I do not smoke. I'm trying to eat healthy, I eat healthy. I do not eat fried foods. I do not drink soda. I do not eat candy. Even though in the beginning you might be lying, honey, because I love some chocolate chip. I love me some gummy bears. And
But
I
gummy bear.
allow space. You know what I'm saying? So cultivate yourself. That's what I'm gonna say. Cultivate yourself. We want to know, like, what was your biggest takeaway from this video? Did you hear that one thing? We want to hear examples. Give us some examples of the one thing.
Yeah, what was that one step you heard?
Yeah, what was that one thing like that you can apply to your life? Like for me, I am a person who works out every day. That's me shifting into being a healthier person, right? So what is that one thing? My example is I am a person who works out every day. That's a new identity, honey. I can do it when I'm on a challenge, and I get to start doing it off challenges, right? So what is your version? We would love to hear it. We would love to hear your biggest takeaway. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and catch us every time we go live. Make sure you turn on notifications so we can see you and we can actually chat with you whenever we're actually live. And please feel free to reach out to us on any of our social platforms, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, all those good things. And go ahead and do it. Practice it. Have fun with it. Do it for a week. And we will see you on the next video.
Yes. Take care, everyone.